Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. My name is Mohammed Rali. I am a network and system administration student, and in this video we're going to take a look on how to configure routing protocol RIP, routing information protocol. That's what it stands for. And yeah, it's a dynamic routing protocol. You know, if you guys know that there's two types, there's static and dynamic, so the RIP is on the dynamics side. It's a very old protocol. It doesn't get used a lot, but if you guys are if you guys are studying in school or you're studying for CCNA or whatever, you're gonna definitely study a little bit about RIP and what metric system does it use and the version of RIP and things like that. So we're just working with IP version 4, as you can see. So we're gonna work with RIP version 2. A little bit about RIP. It has several versions, you could say. It has the RIP version 1, which is the old one, doesn't support VLSM, and there's the version 2, which supports the VLSM and uses multicast instead of broadcast, comparing to version 1. And there's the RIP NG, the next generation, which that's for IP version 6. So anyway, as you can see, we have a very simple topology. There is 3 routers. The only configuration on the routers is the interfaces. I've only configured the interfaces, gave them an IP addresses and the subnet mask. So you can see here I've documented this stuff, and here in this segment or this network we're using 192.168.1.0/24 subnet mask, here using /30.2.0 and so on. So let me show you how to configure RIP. Anyway, let me get out, go to global configuration mode first, conf T, and the way that we configure RIP is very different than static routing. For static routing, we enter manually the routes or the next hops or whatever to the router. For RIP, it does it automatically. We only need to enter the neighbors or the connected networks, the directly connected networks. Now for this router, if I'm gonna ask myself what's the directly connected networks, you can see them here very well. You have the 192.168.1.0/24 directly connected to this router and this network as well. For example, this router, you have 3 networks. You have this one, 2.0/30, 4.0/30, and the 3.0/24. Now, with the RIP, we're gonna see, of course, how we're gonna do that just in a second. But just want to give you a little bit on the theory how to configure RIP. So let's start. In order to enter to the RIP configuration, we type simply router RIP. RIP, by the way, stands for Routing Information Protocol and not Rest in Peace, if you ever wondered. So we type enter, and you can see here, config router, we've entered to this specialized kind of mode. So we simply type network, and again, I'm gonna, as I said before, I'm gonna enter the directly connected networks 1.0 and 2.0. So I simply type 192.168.1.0, and you don't have to type anything else. You don't have to type the subnet mask. Again, if I type like question mark, it doesn't give me anything. So that's it. And I type the other network. I'm just gonna change 2.0, 192.168.2.0, which is this one, and I'm gonna type enter, and that's all. That you finished configuring RIP on this router. And I'm gonna type exit, do WR for saving the configuration, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this router again. Now, as you probably guys, if you've worked with Cisco Packet Tracer or you're working with it, it's gonna be very, very, very difficult to start navigating through the windows if you have multiple routers, Windows routers. Of routers or switches or whatever. You're gonna have to look to the address, then come back, then it's gonna be annoying. So for routing, if you want to enter the neighbors, I'm going to show you a very kind of quick way. You don't have to look at the addresses here, then get back. Then you just have to type. Well, let me go back to the privilege mode, and you do show IP route, and it gives you this lot of information. Not a lot, but kind of, and it shows you here some directly connected stuff, and you want only the directly connected. You don't want anything else. Usually if you have other protocols configured or whatever, you're gonna have multiple things, and you type connected, and it gives you the directly connected networks that we've mentioned before. And as you can see here, 192.168.2.0/30, which is this one. So you don't have to look and get back and look, you can just copy it from here. So conft, same steps again, router rip and network, and you're going to start entering your networks, your directly connected networks. So 192, let's start with the first one, as you can see here. So 192.168.2.0, and it changed. The next one is 3.0, and the last one, which is 4.0. And one important thing I've forgot, which is to change versions. If you didn't type which version you want to work with, rip is automatically. This is an important thing that I've forgot to do. If you didn't change the version, it's gonna automatically work with version 1. So you have to type version 2. And that's it. And I have to actually get back to the first router and type version 2, or else it's not gonna work. Router rip, you can just type v2, same thing as version 2. We're gonna go to the last router, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do show IP route connected. It's going to give me only the connected networks, as you can see here. Make the window a little bit bigger, and there you go. So I'm going to start with the rip configuration, router rip version 2. Start with that first, and it's very important to choose the second version, to type version 2, or else you're going to work with version 1, which doesn't support VLSM. And as you can see here, we're working with VLSM. We have, you know, 192.168.4.0/30. We have 192, which is a, you know, guys, if you've studied subnetting, you know what I'm talking about. So this is a classless IP address. So let's start again. Same thing. Network 192.168.4.0. I'm just gonna change the last 2 digits, 5.0 and 6.0. And there you go, your configuration is all set right now. So to do WR, and now you've actually configured RIP. You saw how we configured RIP. So we can, if we want to verify is the protocol working or not, you have to see the routing table of the routers to see if they actually, again, we saw the routing, the command that which I've show IP route. You have to see all the networks. The router needs to know all the networks in this topology, either the ones connected or the ones that not directly connected. So let's see if that actually worked. Let's go to privilege mode, and we're gonna do show IP route. As you can see, you see something different here. Here are the ones that we've seen before, connected, directly connected 1.0. Here, directly connected, but we have this new letters here, RRR, and as you probably thought, yes, it stands for RIP. So it gives me the other networks, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, and 6.0, which is here all the other networks here. So it means this router knows all the other networks now. Now he can route between networks. If we want to send, for example, a message from this PC to the other one, he knows where does he have to go, as you can see here. in the routing table. This is a routing table. If you want to see only a rep, you just type, like we've typed connected before, you see only the connected networks. You can type rep, show IP route rep, and it's gonna give you only you know, the rep, the you know, how he discovered the routes using rep. So that's pretty much it. Now let's look at the other one, another one, see if it works on all routers. Show IP route. Let's just type rep. We don't want to see everything, just the rep. And yes, doesn't know 3 routers. He didn't know 3 routers. These 3 he had already connected, but he didn't know 3.0, 2.0, and 1.0 because they are not directly connected to the router. And with rep, he've learned them. So you can see. So let's do a ping. First of all, before we do a ping, we need to give both PCs or both end devices an IP address. So in order to do that, we go to desktop, IP configuration. We didn't configure DHCP, so we're gonna stay with static IP4 address. So 192.168.1.2, because 1.1 we gave it to the router. The subnet mask will stay the same since we're using /24, and the default gateway will be 192.168.1.1. Didn't configure any DNS, we don't have any DNS, don't worry about that. And let's just go with all the way here. Big configuration 192.168. let me check what second. .5.0, okay. GT 168.5.2, because .1, oh, we gave it to the interface, or it's the gateway. Okay, subnet mask is good. 192.168.5.1. That's the correct configuration, I believe. Now let's try to do ping from this PC to that PC to see if the routing works. So I'm gonna simply type ping, gonna type the IP address of the other PC, 192.168.5.1. As you can see, we have a reply. So reply from 192.168.5.1 with 32 bytes, time 2 milliseconds. Anyway, if it didn't work, for example, let me type whatever, you know, random IP address. It's gonna give you either destination host unreachable or another error message. But let me stop. But since the rep works, you know, gives you a reply. That means we've successfully configured rep in this topology. And you know, you guys can go crazy with this. You can do whatever you want. You can add how many routers you want, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, and you can try to configure rep and try to have fun. It's very easy configuration. As you see, it's much better than static routing when there's a lot of work, especially if you have 5 routers or so. On each router you have to manually enter the routes and the next hops and things like that. But for rep it's very easy. Just by the way, just so you guys know, rep is not used today a lot. Most companies use other routing protocols such as OSPF, which we're gonna take a look at it in a video soon, I hope. And there is another routing protocol, EIGRP, Enhanced Interior Gateway Protocol. OSPF, by the way, stands for Open Shortest Path First. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys like the video, and I'm gonna see you in an upcoming video. We're gonna I believe we're gonna speak about we're gonna talk about DHCP, how to configure that on a Cisco router, and DHCP and relay agents and things like that. So hope you guys like the video again, and see you in another one. Take care.